Good evening. My name is Alun, and today I am facilitating the third of 4 sessions of Hit the Street, Defend the Block. That's Rich Rogers' game of street-level superheroes. We are playing in a part of New Gauntlet City. This is the shared setting for Gauntlet Comics. Gauntlet Comics is a kind of subset of the Gauntlet RPG community. If you don't know about the Gauntlet, you really should find out about it. Type Gauntlet RPG into any search engine and you will find us. We are playing lots of mostly indie OSR story games on a monthly basis. And in fact, we've just come out the end of the first Gauntlet Community Open Gaming weekend, where we invited people who are not part of the community, though I do notice that some have subsequently joined, which suggests that it was some kind of success, where we invited people maybe who aren't used to playing as much online, under the current circumstances looking to play online. We invited people to come and play with us for free and just experience the play culture, which is tremendous here. The Gauntlet has a Patreon, and though anyone can sign up for any of these games, if you're part of the Patreon at a certain level, then you will have priority access to get into these games. And I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that almost all the games we run are oversubscribed. But you know, we are here. We want to play with people. We want to play with you. So do come and join us. So this is a street level supers game. I'm not going to rehearse the conversation about safety tools. We've had that conversation in both the previous episodes. Go back and see that if you don't know about the X card, lines and veils. You want to learn more about the Gauntlet community code of conduct for play, which boils down to don't be a dick, really. So we will move on then swiftly by asking, in order of character keeper, please, the players to introduce themselves and say something about their character. So, starting with Donna, would you like to say hello and tell us about Theo, Dukas, also Blink?
Yeah, thanks, Alan. My name is Donna. My pronouns are he, him. And I'm a long-time Gauntleteer, but this is my first run of playing Hit the Streets. So I'll tip my hat to Rich Rogers, the creator. It's a blast so far. Tonight, I'm playing Theo, whose superhero name is Blink. He's like a relatively young man living in the neighborhood as his family has for several generations. He is a bike courier by day, and his superpowers involve being able to blink in and out of a ghost form and to propel his senses through any kind of barrier in a short range. And somehow he is the leader of this motley crew. So
he just has natural talent. And I should have said, yeah, this is my first time running any kind of supers game. And I have to say, I think Hit the Streets, Defend the Block has a lot to offer. Moving along then. Dave, say hello and introduce us to Veronica Lopez, also known as Shadeux.
Hi folks, I'm Dave. I'm he, him. I am playing Veronica, who by day is a nice, meaningful and community active schoolgirl, but by night fights justice as Shadow, also with graffiti. She's the wild one in the team and seems to be the only one who wants to get the team out fighting crime. The other people want to do things like God knows what, real day jobs, you know, work with their friends. But she's toughing it out because last time she saw someone she liked and admired and
stay out of jail.
Something bad had happened to them, right? And as a result of that, she's toughing it out to Blink that all is okay, but she's not in a good place because 17-year-old schoolgirls shouldn't see dead bodies.
No. And though she claimed that this wasn't the first body she'd seen, we all know it was.
She was lying.
Yes. It's becoming part of her deal. I think she's having to lie on all sides now. Moving along, Mario, say hello and introduce us to Young Void.
Hello, Mario, he, him. I'm playing Robert Blossom, aka Young Void, graphic designer and wannabe rapper. he's there to get the job done, and he set his own standards for moral, which is quite helpful when you have to punch people. And he's the bringer of void and despair. So be wary of his touch, of his reps. Your day might turn quite bad if you listen too carefully.
Yeah, the void is deep, and it's easy for people to stumble into it when he gets up close and personal. Okay, Jim, say hello. Tell us about Hotwire, or Benny Thibault.
Hey, I am Jim Crocker, and folks that know me from outside the Gauntlet may know that I sell role-playing games for a living. I'm in my office here. You can see them over my shoulders. Normally, I would be doing that at conventions, but there isn't a lot of that going on right now, so I am playing online a whole bunch. If you want to find out more about what I'm doing, you can find me at jimlikesgames.com. That is my website, and I occasionally tweet at jimlikesgames on Twitter. I am playing Hotwire, Benny Thibodeau, a former, like, kind of, I guess super thug might be, or whatever. Actually, thug is a bad word to use. I'm not going to use that, but just like a, like a hireling for a supervillain who was given powers as a result of that, and now in early middle age is just trying to keep these kids from getting into too much trouble, from going overboard, while helping people in the neighborhood as best he can, and trying to keep his stay sober, keep his nose clean, and generally,
Be a square.
Not make too much of a fuss, if possible. Currently, I am working at my cousin's welding business, where we make like his kind of home and small business security business, where we do like grates and roll doors and things like that and everything. Not so much on the whatever alarms and locks and stuff, but just the the solid infrastructure that you use to protect your property. And it's nice because he doesn't need an arc welder to fuse a couple of bars together or whatever. I think we've sort of established that folks in the neighborhood kind of know who he is and will come to him asking for favors. So,
Yeah. He is the glue in the team. He is.
Yeah.
He's the mother-father figure. I think that so far Shadeux is resolutely not looking up to.
It seems pretty on point for our.
I'm shocked to see a teenager not paying attention.
A 17-year-old girl character not listening to the 40-year-old dude. Yeah.
So we left the situation last time where the team had been following leads related to a wild party that got out of hand. Clearly, someone with powers was involved in that, and they thought they'd found a lead to find out who was paying for that, who was providing that kind of infrastructure by following a DJ. Unfortunately, right at the end of that episode, Shadeux broke into his apartment, not quite aided and abetted by Blink, and they found the DJ dead. So Shadeux took lots of pictures around the room before getting out. And Blink, of course, just drifted out in his ghost form. And the other bit I think that we need to just make sure that's, previously on, we saw Robert Blossom getting a job he was woefully prepared for, just helping out on what appears to be some kind of construction site going on around the old Park department store, which is now, a decrepit ruin, really. But it looks like the local development agency is trying to do something with that, and so Bobby Blossom got a job with them, which lasted a day. But in that day, he was able to go back to where they'd broken up the party that set them on this path, and he noticed that where they'd seen somebody inscribe an oval in space and just step into it and disappear, some kind of portal. the various paint bombs that Shadeux had set off to break up that party, it was clearly there on the floor, an oval where the paint had gone through the portal and not onto the floor. And I think the last thing I said before we finished the last episode was that when Shadeux just skimmed the photographs that she'd taken in the dead DJ's apartment, where he appeared to have died of a drug overdose, was somebody had thrown a drink at the wall, and there was an oval where whatever the drink was had not hit the wall. And I left the characters to draw their own conclusions. So that would seem to me to be a place to start, because I think Shadeux had a nasty shock in that apartment. I'm curious what we see Veronica doing the following day. And who with, for that matter.
I think we picked up the following one day because she was her best friend the following day, and we had the.
You are right. I'm sorry, Camilla.
Yeah.
And
So
Camilla thought there was something on her mind. Yeah.
That's right. So we saw that. I think I had the closing scene of the last game. I think
you did. I apologize.
So I think So if you want to pass to someone else, I'm happy
fine.
to do so.
Well, is there anybody who's looking for a refresh scene, which would allow them to regenerate the spark that allows them to keep being super? Or does anybody else have a scene they want?
I think Blink might be looking to connect with Hotwire, because I think, as I flagged last session, I think they need to kind of break glass on that, get in contact with Shadeux in a real life measure that they had talked about previously.
Fine. So where do we see that meeting?
I don't know. Jim, what do you think? Does Benny have a kind of a hangout?
I mean,
someplace like a diner or something he gets for lunch.
Like you've got my phone number and you know where I live.
Yeah.
But like if you want to have this be at the at the there's like like a shawarma place or something like that, like a Mediterranean, like a Middle Eastern lunch counter.
Sure, yeah.
That I get falafel at or something like that.
Yeah,
you can find me.
So yeah, I think maybe Theo parks the bike and around the corner from where he knows you'll be, grabbing some lunch and greet you. I think he's kind of down. He looks worried, right? Because
and I'm like hunkered down in the I think it's probably like a lunch counter place, and maybe they've got a couple of tables along the wall.
Sure,
or maybe not even tables, like just like a standing counter kind of thing. Exactly. And when I'm there, elbows down, I'm like munching, and I've got a I'm just like probably like looking at stuff on my phone or something like that when you come in. Oh, hey kid, step on up. You want a couple of my fries here?
Yeah, I think I'll just grab a cola. Have you seen Shadeux?
You're lost. You dip him in this yogurt stuff. That's good.
I think Theo will be stealing a couple of fries over the course. So
okay. Oh yeah, sure. That thing. No, I couldn't possibly. But then while we're talking, they just kind of sitting there. All right. So no, I haven't. Is she? I mean,
I'm worried about her because we went to. I mean, I think we'll have updated each other on what happened the previous night, right?
I mean, right now, tell me she's in school right now.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, but like, when I checked in with her, she's fine, right? And that could mean anything from I'm never coming back to I hate you and what
Well,
you've
I
done to my
mean,
life.
yeah, I mean, I guess was she fine?
Oh, I mean,
Or was she fine?
she was fine. I mean,
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's bad news.
like, I don't know how is, but like she's pretending to be able to handle this shit, which I'm not even sure I'm handling. So
Yeah, I mean, so what's your play?
I mean, I don't want to freak her out by like turning up to have some kind of a superhero version of the talk, but I just want to make sure she's okay. And I don't know what kind of family or friends she has to help her through it, but this being the leader stuff is not for me. Maybe like I don't know how to handle this.
That's why I don't think any of us would know how to handle it, but at least you're worried you don't know how to handle it.
Okay.
That's that. Well, some people wouldn't be worried that they don't know how to handle it. They'd just be like, I can't handle it, but whatever, I'll figure it out. And 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 not have any care about, who might get hurt when they screw up. You seem like you're worried about it. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay.
Hang on to that. Too many people forget that.
Okay. But I mean, like, how do we approach her without driving her away? Like, I don't know.
Uh, Based on what I've seen, probably can't go wrong with chocolate.
Okay.
I mean, if you've seen her go after a candy bar like I have, I don't know, something to break the ice. Look, she's gonna. I mean,
I don't mind if she yells at me. I just don't want to spook her.
well, then maybe that's what you do. Go in there and give her a reason to yell at you. Don't scare her away. Make her, if she's angry enough at you that she starts yelling at you, then at least she's talking to you.
That sounds like a terrible plan. Where do I sign up?
I don't know. It works for me and my cousins, so.
Okay. 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 We'll. Okay. I will pull that emergency lever and buy an emergency supply of chocolate.
I think that's probably seen, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that is definitely an example of a refresh scene that is about, and I quote, a bonding scene. I can award between 2 and 5. I'm going to give you 3 spark for that one because I think it is really important. I think we saw Blink trying to grow into the leader role, and we saw Benny trying to, not be the leader, but to support the leader by being the glue. So I think that's worth 3 each. Robert, what do we first see you doing in this issue?
Well, that sort of depends, because if Robert has heard about the tragedy,
let's assume so. I think, yeah. I mean,
okay.
maybe the preceding panel is that kind of the 4 people and telephone conversation.
Yeah. Okay, so in that case, he would have texted Shadeux and just like said, well, feel free to come over and hang out. No talk, just chill. And I think he's real busy trying to get another job. So he would just call people he knew, call agencies,
Well, can I
and
suggest, he was given a job to do by the Lower Park Development Agency, and he missed the deadline. So is he just going to let that one go?
yeah, maybe he just steps that a bit up, polishes it up, and then sends it out later on. So maybe we see him working real hard on that piece.
And then just email it through and keep his fingers crossed.
Yeah, because I totally could see that he is not always exactly on time. So if people have worked with him, they would knew that he might take half a day or a day longer than they expected.
So does the email have an excuse?
Oh yeah, maybe like something. Oh well, my sister has been horribly ill. Had to take care of her. Sorry, I'm late. Here's the job.
Okay.
So something that might be true, but it's unlikely that that's happening all the time. So he's coming up with a lame as excuse.
Yeah, and even as he's typing it, he's thinking this is a lame ass excuse. Are you expecting to hear from the again? And when you don't get an immediate email back, what do you do?
Well, thing is, he's really good at what he's doing. He's just real unconventional. So the companies that value quality come and reach out again, and those who are really who want their job done on point and yeah have an orderly procedure, they probably won't contact him ever again.
Okay, I can live with that. And what happens? I mean, Shadeux, we've never really investigated this idea of whether you have two phones, the Shadeux phone and the Veronica phone, or whether all those messages come in to just different accounts on the same phone. How does this work, this double identity business?
Oh, two phones. She's got the one for her real life and her souped-up shadow phone with the gadget in.
Okay, so when the Shadeux phone rings and Mario's in touch or messaged, what do we see in terms of the exchange of messages, if anything?
Well, is this a ring or a text? Because if it's a ring, it's got to be like
It's a text.
Someone else. It's a text. Okay.
He's not ever calling. He's always texting.
And what does the text say again?
Well, just something like, yeah, you know, you can come over if you want. Like, no talking, just chilling.
Alan, have we established the time of day, or can I set the time of day?
You can certainly set it, because if this is Shadeux, I'd suggest it's probably outside school time, or
yeah,
up to you.
So the response back is, say, no chilling, just tagging. Gonna be doing something big tonight. Welcome to help.
I'm in. Yeah, obviously.
So set the scene for me.
So this will take place outside of the office of the, I can't remember their name, the people who are
the development agency.
Yeah. And when so Shadow's outside with the backpack, the cans, and waits for Void to arrive, nods and goes, "Hey, what's up?" And then we see these mechanical arms pop out, all carrying spray paint. Some got stencils on them. So she is going to spray paint a protest mural on the front of the store that sees all the different cultures and races in the community, some of our heroes and landmarks, and she's also going to paint on, as this is a tribute to DJ Mike, and he'll be playing his decks, and there will be a sign saying, "We never forget, we know what you did."
Yeah, that is amazing. So yeah, I think well, Robert did some graffiti, but more like the gang tech kind of thing. So he never properly painted anything. And he comes with way too much cans, way too much equipment for just one job. And he just unloads maybe 1 or 2 backpacks full of spray cans and just starts painting all the background, because he just knows that it takes way more practice for what you're planning to do, that he would actually be of much help. So he was basically just there and nodding to everything you do and giving thumbs up all the time.
So you just make sure you're keeping an eye out, right? We don't want to get caught before this is done. And this is a big one that covers up like the front of the store, the hoarding, everything. So when the sun comes back up, we'll be there, or we've been there. Rather, we will be there. Not still there. We'll go.
So Mario, you're keeping a lookout. Now I think we've established that many of the street lights in Lower Park don't work, and so it's about the only one that does work on this street, or this block, is outside the agency, because it's on the corner. It's a corner plot. It's the old First National Bank building that they've repurposed. But across the way from there, there's an alley, and I think, Bobby, you think that somebody's in that alley looking at you.
Well, okay, so in my front pocket of my leather jacket, I've always some weed with me, and it's already rolled up. So he's just taking it out, lighting it up, and then just slowly walking over there and checking it out if somebody's there. And he's just looking like he's looking during the day, not wearing a balaclava or anything.
So just, the average citizen in the small hours of the morning, keeping a lookout while somebody spray paints a building. I get that. And as you approach the alley entrance, you can hear footsteps running down the alley away from you. What do you do?
I just check if I can see somebody else. If there's no one else, I'm real fast trying to catch up and checking out who's running away.
Okay, so this sounds like you are going to use your feet.
Yeah,
I think this is being normal.
Yes.
It's just running after somebody in an alley.
Yeah.
So you've got 3 to be normal. You've got 3 with feet. I don't think you're being the brick here. You're just being your average citizen. So I think you're rolling 60, and the difficulty, I think, probably is only 2.
Yeah, okay.
So you're looking for 2 successes with 6 dice. Shadeux, when Bobby kind of drifts across the street and then heads off down an alley, do you notice? Or are you kind of in the work?
No, she's in the work. She thought she had a teammate had her back, right? So she's making the protest. All of them. Void was the one that she could depend on.
And there he goes. So 6 dice, I'm looking for 2 successes, and the success is a 4, 5, 6. Tension is not in play, so you won't take any harm.
Yeah, I'm just struggling with row for your party right now. It's
Oh
not
dear.
really. Oh no. Okay, I've got 3 6s, so it's even a critical, I guess.
Okay. Oh, so you do. So yeah, this guy he's got a kind of a hoodie. He's no trouble at all. He's quite tall, but he's not very heavy. And I don't think he expected to be caught. Certainly not caught by you. And so, what do? You're closing on him. Is this wrestle to the ground, hand on shoulder? What do we see?
Yeah, so I think I have one hand right on his neck, and the other one already grabbing the arm, and then turning him around. I'm saying, "Oh, stalking little girls at night.
Who are you, jerk?
Well, I'm the one that is making sure that you won't ever harass another girl by night. So you better quick
But
say who you
I
are."
wouldn't do nothing. I won't do nothing.
Okay, I know, like, time is tight, and I'm straight going for my white touch, and I'm just talking him into it that, like, this is the worst of days he'd ever had if he's not talking right away.
So, sorry, just so I'm clear, you're trying to convince him before you unleash the void touch.
Yeah, right.
So this is a straightforward, be normal, come on, kid.
Yeah.
Be straight with me. Okay, so
Yeah.
I think that's jaw is 6, and being normal is 3. So you're rolling 9 dice to convince someone. You do have the gift of the gab.
Okay, so clearing the room. And a 9. And this is, oh wow. Dice are like, yeah, 6 successes. This is, yeah, just too good to be true.
And he says, look, I wasn't, I like the girl, and sometimes she comes out of the principal's house dressed like that, and I just wanted to have a
Okay.
chance to say hello, and then you kind of get in the way.
I'm just grabbing his wallet and checking if there's an ID in it.
I think, given that you had such success, I will let him be on the back foot, and he doesn't have a wallet. He doesn't have a driving license.
Okay, so then I'm just grabbing my smartphone, taking a picture, and letting the guy go and say, you better not ever stalk her again.
Oh man, don't tell her I was stalking her. I'm just worried about her.
Nah, sorry, can't do. See you, bye. And I'm just heading back.
And we see a slump-shouldered Mario the Hoops Hooper turning away and slumping down the alleyway. What do you do with that information, Robert?
Yeah, I'm just going back, but I'm not saying anything. I'm just acting like I've been always around the corner. And then once the job's done, I'm casually mention and ask if she would know that face I just got a photograph of.
I think that Veronica knows Mario.
Okay, so
But I don't
you tell
know
me.
what Shadow says.
So it's a picture of the basketballer we established, I think, in the first game. Is that correct?
Yeah, the jock who was a pain in the ass to Hotwire at the party, and ostensibly gives you some aggro on the halls.
So she look at it and then looks back up at says, "Why have you got a photo of him?"
Because he's a creep, and like not one of those rather cool guys you see on television. He's an actual creep following you around. So better be careful about that guy.
What do you mean follow me around?
Well, he's sort of stalking you. Like if you would watch your back more carefully, you would have noticed that he's around the corner quite often, as he told me, and he's just watching you day and night. And I think he might know more about you than you would like. He might even know more about you than I do. Well, I don't care, but that guy is dangerous, I guess.
Uh-huh. So we see the grappling hook go up into the air and Shadow disappear into the night on her way to Hoops' house to have a conversation with a baseball bat.
Where does Hoops live?
I haven't got the map, so I can't tell you.
Well, shall we put him? Shall we make him a near neighbor?
I think a neighbour to spot if she spotted her coming in and out, right?
Yeah. So I'm thinking kind of somewhere on Jurassic Park Lane, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's just a block down, and we know that Shadow is quite good at this kind of stuff. So I think Mario has slump-shoulderedly make his way down the alley. He turns out onto Park Street, is crossing in front of the school to get to Park Lane, and you'll see him approaching his house. Shadow, what do you want to do?
She leaps down, sort of half runs down the front of the door of a building in front of her and sort of intercepts him before he gets near the house.
And just so I'm clear, you will have left Robert some way behind.
I'd have gone. It depends how Robert's moving, but I was going at full pace. I think in a foolhardy. Me and this boy are going to have words conversation sort of style.
And I think he just stops dead. And I don't know. My picture of Shadow is that she's not huge. She's not tall. She's quite petite.
Nah, she's about like 5'5", 5'6", right? So she's not. She is not basketball player height.
So this 6 foot basketball player kind of, when she drops in front of him, he just steps back, and looks discombobulated. What do you say?
You wanted to have a word with me, tough guy?
I didn't. I've just been out for a walk.
I think she goes, she's confused and scared and worried, I think is my answer to that. She sort of looks at him and she's like that. She's trying to cut that I'm bigger than you sort of pose, and it sort of slumps for a second, and she pulls herself back up and says, I don't know what you're playing at, following me around, talking to my friends. Whatever you think you know, you don't. She prods him hard in the stomach, sort of chest, and says, and he says, if I see you, if I hear you, if you cause me any trouble, you will regret it.
I think there are two things going on here. I think there's intimidation clearly going on.
Mm-hmm.
Not that he's being in any way aggressive. If anything, he looks very flat-footed and a bit embarrassed. But I think more importantly, there's Shadow trying to keep the Shadeux front up. And I'm just, how do you see that playing? Is that heart or is that jaw? Does he see Veronica shining through? Does he spot the voice? What do you think?
I think he says, I'll finish. I said, you regret it. And he says, because the last thing I want is you getting hurt because of me, you ass.
Oh, I think that's heart. But but this is being terribly normal. So it's heart being normal. So I think
Okay.
that is 4 dice.
Am I able to call my wild one for telling him off of my entrance and tell him off in the middle of the street? Or do you
No,
feel that's
I don't
inappropriate?
think so. I don't think
No
so.
problem.
I think you can,
Well-
you can resort to spark.
No, it runs or it doesn't. Let's see
Now,
what the dice
give-
take us.
Given that you've been in school with this guy most of your high school life, all of your
Yeah.
high school life, and maybe some of your before, middle school life, I think the difficulty here is 3, because I think we're seeing some emotion come through
Oh,
here.
you want me to get 3 successes? Is that correct?
I do.
Now I will spend some sparks. I think I think she is a mosh. I'm going to spend 2 spark, and that gives me 2 additional dice, right?
It does.
So that will give me.
Well, given that I talked to that guy just a couple minutes before, can I spend some spark to help out? Because I think I've been quite successfully real intimidating.
Oh,
So
right. So you think he might be a little bit jittery and might not have his eye on the ball?
I rolled 3 6s, so I think I might be all right. Anyway.
Okay. So he absolutely now he thought that this was Veronica coming out of that attic window of the principal's house, and opposite. But now he's obviously convinced. I must have mistaken you for somebody else.
So Veronica Lopez is my friend. She helps me tag the right people. You should help her and her friends. She's a great girl. Should ask her to the dance, you jackass. And then he's away.
Well, I won't bother asking you what advantage you want for those 6s then. Okay, I think I got that. Fine. I think, and do you two want to do anything else that night?
well, I just want to make sure, as I've got the hint that she's climbing out of that principal's house. I'm gonna make sure that I see her come home that night.
Oh, right. So this is about you being able to stay hidden and not be spotted when Shadeux makes a re-entry to home. So
Yeah.
now you have frightened off a stalker, so you can become a stalker.
No, I just want to clarify. Like, I don't see that that Robert would have any interest in finding out about her identity or anything. He's just worried because
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's stalker adjacent. It's positively driven stalker adjacent behavior. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's a completely innocent meet cute.
Absolutely. So I think that is probably rolling with head. Putting yourself somewhere where you can see but not be seen.
Sounds about right.
What kind of precautions, Shadeux, do you normally take?
What sort of precautions do I normally take? She's a 17-year-old girl who's a parkour and graffiti specialist who escapes through the skylights every night. The protection I take, lovely GM, is I put a mask and a jacket on.
Okay, then I don't think this is an opposed roll, is what I think I'm saying. And
She'll probably look. She'll look around, but she's not got any sort of special precautions. There's no secret shadow tunnel into the house or anything.
Okay,
It is
okay.
through the window in the middle of the night, wearing black, which is usually enough because we don't have no street lighting around here.
No, it takes someone to actually be looking. Okay, so that's a straightforward be normal, void, Robert, and head, which I think is 6 dice.
Yes.
Difficulty, given what we've just been told, I think the difficulty is 3. Because it is dark, there are no street lights. She does do this a lot.
And 4 successes.
So you see Shadeux moving along the rooftops and then disappearing in through the upstairs, the skylight window of the principal's house next to the St. Joseph's Catholic School. Okay. One last thing I think I want to just touch on. We've not seen Theo at home. I'm curious to know a little bit about Theo's family.
So I think there's a relatively big group of them there, several generations at least. You know, maybe his grandmother is still there, ruling the roost. So yeah, I think it's a busy kind of all hands on deck kind of situation.
So
You
when
need
he
it,
gets
Alan?
when he gets back from a busy day couriering stuff around for dinner, I guess, you know, is Granny doing the cooking, or does she kind of sit in the big chair and everything revolves around her? What do we see in these panels?
Yeah, I think we have the kind of matriarch in her throne in the corner, asking for the latest gossip, you know, and making sure that everything is well in her kingdom, you know, and then everything else kind of revolves around her in a very kind of messy, noisy, kind of big kitchen.
And am I seeing your younger sisters sitting next to Granny, telling them about their day at school?
Yeah, maybe there's one, maybe a classmate of Veronica's, right?
Oh, she's not called Camilla, is she?
I don't know. She could be.
Well, that we've established Camilla
that could be
is
sailing too close to the wind. I don't want to
okay.
infringe.
No. Let me not take you there. So one
I
of
don't
them at
mind.
least
I'd
knows
say
one.
leave it up to Dave if he wants us to be that connected, even though we don't realize it.
No issue with that at all. Right? It's a four-parter. This is comic book. That's what happens.
Yeah,
Those are the rules.
So there's your sister Camilla.
Yeah.
And a younger sister who's probably still in, junior school, primary school. And is there an aunt or uncle who lives in, or is it just your mum and dad?
I think maybe there's an aunt who lives in as well. Maybe commutes into the kind of city center, as a lot of people living here do. So maybe that's why, you know, dinner is so late. You know.
Yeah. And probably the only man in the room or in the apartment other than you is your father. And I see him in the corner behind a newspaper, just
he
with all
is definitely
kind of
trying
going
to.
round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Theo is his sandbag to the chaos that is the family kitchen.
Okay. And I've got one final panel that I want to slip in because we've established that Benny takes his lunch often at that falafel counter across the way from Keep Out Ironworks. And you've popped in there on your way back from delivering some of these leaflets that Bobby Blossom produced for you. You know, you've been letterboxing, you've been doorstepping people, pasting on, and you're back a bit early, so you pop in to the falafel counter. And when you come out of the falafel counter, before you come around the corner, going to go to get a falafel. And I think what I want is to see a limousine just pulling away from outside Keep Out Ironworks. Okay? And at that point, it's 5 to the hour. Should we take a 5-minute break, be back on the hour? See you then. Does anybody know why the arrangement of these windows change on the screen? Because I noticed Jim has now dropped to the bottom. I'm just curious. So we finished with that Lumo pulling away from
Oh,
Keeper.
So let me answer your question,
Oh, go
which
on.
is that it's just a thing Zoom does, where if you go off camera, it arranges it in whatever it thinks is the optimal mode for the people that are still on camera. So like it dropped me down to the bottom because other people were on camera and it centered everybody, and then I came in last. So
I see.
As far as I know, there isn't a way to disable that. I don't think.
No,
I
it's
should dig into it and find out.
Oh gosh, no. I mean,
It's just a thing that it does. Yep, it's just a weird thing it does.
Among many. Okay.
Yep.
So we finished on that we've reached the centerfold of this issue with that panel. I will ask Benny if he wants to do anything, or a couple of days may pass.
I mean, I'm gonna see if I can get a look at whoever might be in it, or glance at the plate, or
I think you'd recognize you don't see cars like that around here very often.
Yeah, no, and especially not pulling out of our place. So yeah.
And so I think there's no if you see that car or that license plate again, you will recognize it. Is that good enough?
Okay, all right.
But the tinted windows.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't have a vanity plate that's like, Big Bad One or anything like that. No, okay. So SPR VLN or something like that.
Now let me just think. That's a lovely idea. Let it
will all make sense when we discover our supervillain's name.
Yeah,
well,
I think let's call it JF1.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, all right. Okay.
Yeah. No, not JF1, JF3.
There we go. JFIII. So yeah, so I give it one of those, as it. I'm gonna walk in and see what all of that was all about.
And your cousin is just, he's there with the order book. He's looking through, what's the next job, and there's just empty pages. What do you do?
I just hook a finger over, like a thumb over my shoulder, and like give him a a WTF look on my face.
And he says, "What?
What's the deal with that?
With what?
The limo."
Oh, it's just the bank. Don't worry about it. It's just the bank.
Have we found a new bank? Because I'm pretty sure that they usually send mail.
Oh, there's this new thing. I told you that we're in a little bit of difficulty, and so they sent some I don't know, some schmuck out to talk to me. He is clearly lying.
Oh yeah. So this is where like I go over, like I walk over to the little mini fridge, and I take out a beer and a Mexican Coke, and I pop them both, and I hand him the Miller, and I take the Coke.
And Benny, just it's you don't need to worry about this stuff, right? You just do. How any bites from those leaflets?
Not yet. I'm going to figure out what's going on here anyways. I'm going to find out. You're going to ask me for help eventually. So let's just get it out of the way.
I think that I need an indication of how this jaw works.
Yeah, sure.
So being normal with jaw, 2 successes.
All right. So where is... Here's my character here. I'm not great at being normal. I'm more comfortable being super. But I'm decent, and I'm not good at talking to people. Well, is this jaw or is this heart?
I think this is persuasion. I'm struggling to see heart here.
Okay. All right. No
you know,
worries.
if
It's all good.
Yeah.
So that's 2. I'm gonna spend like 3 of my spark here
Went the crowd.
to put me to 5 dice. And what am I looking for? 2?
You're looking for 2 successes.
All right. Where do we link our roll for your party to?
Oh, sorry. It's on the bottom of the character keeper. The team. Row 34.
Okay. Someone just put it into chat. There we go. Mandatorily proper chipmunk. There we go. All right, cool. So I got 5 dice. I'm just gonna clear the room because that seems to work better for us when we do that. I'm gonna clear the room. There we go. And I got 5. Ha! A 2 and 4 3s.
And
oh yeah.
And he kind of just, he smiles and he won't crack.
Yeah, he's just gonna stonewall me.
Yeah.
So like, like if he gets through the beer without saying anything, I just shrug, I take the empties, I toss them in the bin, and I just let myself out and go upstairs.
And I think, we'll see him looking sheepish, with his hand in his head. Over the next couple of days, social media and the TV is full of, big plans for Lower Park, and lots of shots of the hoardings around the park department store. Lots of signs of, stuff arriving, part of a new regeneration of this area. But then the flip side of the coverage is coverage of the murder of local celebrity DJ Mike Dubon, and very much that, and they a doorstep with Detective Grant, who covers this patch, saying, well, you have to understand this is an area of intense social deprivation, and sadly, drugs are all too available in this area, and sadly, this is a tragic victim of that trade, and I regret it immensely because I love these people, but sometimes they don't love themselves, and all I can say is that it seems to me that the more work the development agency does here, the better. Yeah. And I think we will then cut to a picture of the park department store with lots of work going on. Yeah. Let's have you lot meeting up in the clock tower, which is your base of operations. What's the nature of the conversation?
I'd like to spend the intervening days going through the video footage.
Fine. So what do you think you found?
We identified there were 2 glasses, so I'm looking for things that look out of place, anything that we can identify, lipstick on a glass, something there. I'm trying to find out anything that would appear that would connect this to being a murder and not an OD.
I think that's tricky because there is no mention of a second person in any of the interviews that Detective Grant gives, and all the coverage is tragic overdose of a talented young man, took a misstep, shame that that Lower Park let him down.
So we identified there was like a second glass there, and
indeed
spatter on the wall.
And there was spatter on the wall, but in the spatter there was a missing oval, akin to the one that Bobby found at the park department store where you saw someone step through a portal. So it is a no-brainer that a portal was opened in this room or in that room.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm afraid that's about all you've got to go on.
Okay.
So Robert would try to talk to Theo and say like, well, I don't think he did a lot of drugs. He seemed to be real sober when he was playing the gig that night in the abandoned building. So, well, I don't know, but here a lot of construction sites and now all of a sudden people dying that were involved in a party, and I'm not sure, like a whole bunch of real crazy stuff like the ones with the portals. I think we're looking at too much detail. I think we should look on a bigger picture here. I think we're missing, we might be missing that this is not about the neighborhood itself. We should look beyond.
And as Bobby's speech bubble comes to an end, you hear windows smashing in the street outside. What do you do?
Poke my head out the tower and see what the heck is going on.
There's a whole bunch of young people just milling around in the street, just throwing bottles, anything at the buildings.
Do we know
Which,
any of
which
them?
building? Sorry, it's in the residential buildings. Or...
Yeah, just any, that crossroads where Park Street and Jurassic Park meet. On the corner, there's the school and the church, and they're just milling about. There are dozens of them.
Yeah, I think this is like, kind of like hustle down the stairs and out the, bang out the door.
Hotwire's in motion.
Yeah, I mean, and as I'm kind of going down the stairs, I'm, like boom, pulled this over. I've got the goggles on and I'm charging up, and I want to be like glowing and crackling with electricity when I come out the door to tell them to cut the crap.
Okay.
I think I'm telling Void to back him up, but I am staying frosty, right? I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop because this looks very convenient.
Shadeux?
Do I recognize the kids? Are they from the school? Are they older? Are they from who are they?
I think that you do recognize them as some of your classmates that were at the party.
This sort of moment of clicks and Shadow's going like, party, they killed the DJ, and she sort of takes out the iPod and plugs it into computer on the desk and says, there's something on here. They've done something to those kids. I'm going to find out what it is.
So you are at a computer, you are doing your gadgetry stuff. Meanwhile, Hotwire is down there. Void has been sent to back him up, unless I hear different. Okay. So Hotwire, what do we see? There's just loads of kids behaving wildly.
Yeah. You said they're like throwing stuff at like the houses and things like that.
Yeah,
and whatever.
anything. You can see two kids trying to lever up a paving stone.
Okay, so this is where like I think I walk over to one of those street lights that you say don't work very well, and like all electricity crackling all up and down me. I touch one and like it lights up, and I want to light the whole block up.
Okay, so this is certainly being super on a scale.
Mm-hmm.
This is using your power.
Yeah, electricity control. Yep.
Which what do you see your motive here? Because that'll help me work out whether one of your stats is engaged here.
My motive is to like light the place up so people can see what's going on. Maybe not make them quite so bold about doing all this stuff. Like illuminate everything.
This sounds like protecting the community, so I
Yeah.
think we go with heart.
All right, sounds good to me. All right, so I've got 2 in heart. So electricity control, I've got super for 3, and then I get 3 for using my power. Is that right?
2.
2. Okay, so 5, and another 2 for heart. That's 7. What am I looking for here?
I think you're looking for. This isn't hard for you. I think this is 2.
All right, cool. You know, even if it's just get them to just calm down so that they can, they'll listen to us for a second. That'd be helpful. So with 2, I'm just going to go ahead and throw my 7 dice, not worry about adding extra spark to it. Clear the room. I was awfully confident of that last time. Maybe I shouldn't have been. Yeah, that's 4 hits off of that. So.
Okay, so this goes off. The block lights up, and there's
but I got 1. I got a single 1.
Oh, then I think you have to take a point of spark for that.
And no 6s. So yeah.
Okay, so I think that this goes off, and everyone is illuminated in that stark white light, and everything just goes quiet.
And
then they come at you.
Oh wow! Okay, so I'm all about to be like, just go home to your mothers and fathers and whatever, but it's just like one of those, like, suddenly it's a zombie movie. All right, yeah, it's 28 days later,
and you flash back to Bobby saying, "It's some kind of zombie thing."
Oh my God, that's right, he did. Oh, and I'm like, zombies, what are you talking about? And they're all like, and then they come charging at me, and I'm like, and I think I say, "Damn it, Bobby," as they come at me. That's awesome.
Let me be clear, they are not zombies. They are kids,
no,
but they are
like,
enraged.
It's got some of that kind of thing going on. It's,
I
mean, they're fast zombies. They're like 28 days later zombies, or whatever, Resident Evil zombies or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
So I think that's the point, Void, when you come down the steps, and it, you see Hotwire do his thing, and it just draws their attention to him, and he becomes the focus of their rage. So we know what's happening to Hotwire. What are you going to do, Void?
Yeah, I want to be clear about the situation, because if this looks like this is some riot thing going on that is not like a white supremacist one, he would join. Like, he would love to join. If this looks like there's some sort of riot going on, he would be full in. But if this looks like this is obviously just some college kids or some kids trying to be tough guys, like after a baseball game or something, like hooligan style, like he would not hold back at all. So
this is not just a bunch of kids having fun, with a broad definition of fun. They are behaving oddly.
Okay.
And now you're outside, Void. You can hear windows smashing some distance away.
Well, in that case, if it's a large crowd, I would just try to get a hold of Hotwire and like drag him back inside and shut the door.
Well, let's see what Hotwire's react. So you're going to try and protect Hotwire.
Yeah.
What is Hotwire going to do?
If they're coming at me, I'm just gonna be like, "You don't want to do this," and like, kind of do one of these, and like, like this glowing nimbus of crackling electricity all surrounds my body, and just charge up my force field, so that when they, like I'm like a bug zapper, right? They come at me, they're just gonna get like,
exactly,
just like zapped and repelled off of me.
So I think this is probably hands, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hands with a superpower, being super. I don't think this is you being the glue, particularly at this point.
Yeah, nope. But it's definitely my power of whatever. You know, like the force field is like one of my main
2D.
powers. So I've got that and that. So that's another. That's 3. I've got hands of 3, so that's 3, 6. I've got 8 on this. And
what could possibly go wrong? Again, these are kids. They may be enraged, but they're just kids. So I think difficulty is 2.
There we go. All right. 8 dice. Hit it. Boom. I got 3 hits, but another 1.
They are not much opposition, so I think you are. You know, they are bouncing back, but it's sucking a lot of current out.
Well,
so,
and I probably feel bad. Like I know some of these kids, and there's like this kid's whatever president in the honor society. What the hell is he doing coming at me like this?
So yeah, your spark literally is being drained.
Yeah.
Now this is the point at which Bobby Void is trying to drag you back in. Yeah. Let's cut back to Blink. Blink. You are hearing windows crashing. You know, in a block or 2 away.
Yeah, I think I'm just checking in with Shadow to make sure that she is like on the case to find some kind of proper countermeasure. And then maybe I'm gonna like take over to the other side of the clock tower, see if I can spot this other disturbance.
The noise of the shouting and, you know, the kind of banging of trash cans and you know, smashing glass is coming from, you know, the far end of High Street, you know, towards Penny Lane, where the Dukas family house is.
I guess I got to go investigate that.
Yeah. So how are you going to get there? Because I think probably, Hotwire, are you prepared to be taken inside? Or are you resisting Bobby's efforts?
Well, when he comes to get me, I'm going to say, what are you doing? Cut it out. No, put your whammy on him. Come on, talk him down. People are going to lose their homes here.
Yeah, I think the point is not that I'm like really forcefully grabbing him. I'm saying like, what the fuck, Hotwire? Those are children. What is wrong with you?
That's enough time for some of them to come at Void.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're children with bricks.
And
they're not
bricks.
And they're not children.
No, they are youths.
They're kids.
Those are your morals, not mine.
Kids, which is different.
I'm willing to
knock them down.
So what do we see Void doing? This is the first time we've really seen him deployed.
Yeah, the
at
thing
scale.
is, I know that like for Robert, it's real odd that Hotwire is going full on kids. I did not expect him to do that, and I think that's something he will regret later.
So can we let me just time out for a sec. Let me just kind of X card for a moment here. This is a protective force field around me. And like we all know, I think we know enough about how each other's powers work and stuff like that. Like I am not frying anybody. This is just like they come at me and like they bounce off.
Okay, I thought the sappings thing would be more like they've been struck by a small scale lightning or something.
Maybe like a minor taser or something like that. But mostly it's just like they go and like they can't. You know, maybe it knocks a couple of them on their ass, but like nobody's like on the ground smoking with their eyes melting or anything like that. Like that's not what's going on here. Like if I want to juice up and really lay it on somebody, I can, but that's not what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to, like right now, I'm just protecting myself and trying to get them to calm down. Like to not destroy everybody's homes is what I'm mainly interested in.
No, thanks for that clarification, because that's how I saw it.
Understood. Yeah, I totally misunderstood that. So I thought you were going full in, but if this is like real defensive, yeah, I'm standing by you, and this is hard because I don't. Well, I've seen the kids around, but yeah, well, Hotwire is more logic and reason. So I probably just do whatever he's doing and taking a stance and trying to talk onto the kids, and those that are coming at me, just pushing them away.
I need to know whether you're going to put them, whether when you're pushing them away and talking to them, are you trying to nudge them over the edge into the void?
No, I'm not going super on this, I guess.
Okay.
I think this is more like, yeah, well, don't come at me, and then just
Okay.
pushing.
So I think this is being normal with your jaw. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you are being the brick.
I am. So I'm not holding back with words, and there's a lot of swearing and cursing and calling them names, which is not appropriate for their age, maybe, or. But yeah.
Okay. So I make that about 9-10 dice.
Oh wow.
But because you're not going super, I think that probably this is a difficulty of 3.
Yeah, at least. Oh, that was the wrong color, sorry, and that wasn't cleared before. I just have to clear that one, because now we have way too much dice. And there's a 10. So there's a 1 and 6 successes, which with 2 6s. Okay. You're muted.
I think that I think tension is at work here, because this could go seriously wrong. So I think that one will cost you an oof of spark. So reduce spark by 1. But they run, and I'll give you an advantage. What do you want to cash in that extra advantage for? How do you want to cash in the second 6?
I just well, narrative wise, I think Hotwire is in charge here, and I'm just trying to help him out. So if Hotwire wants to use the advantage, I'm more than happy, because this is Robert being really put off, and this is just not what he's usually doing, and he's trying to follow Hotwire's advice.
Okay. What Hotwire, do you want to pick up that advantage?
Yeah, sure.
What do you want
Why
to do
not?
with it?
I mean, what's our like? Are we out of the woods here, or what is our?
This crowd of kids have been frightened off by harsh language and a scary guy. So it looks like they've taken their rage somewhere else. They head off up the street. So you're out of the woods, but I'm not sure where Lower Park is.
Yeah. So I think I turn to him and I say, what's gotten into him?
I don't know either. This never happened before. There is something real odd. Maybe after all, it's this kind of zombie drug thing, but not like real zombies, but more like low-key zombies.
I think is a good segue to go back to the clock tower. Shadow is on the case, so I think, Blink, have you gone?
Yeah, so I mean, having established that Shadow is on the case and that she knows where I'm going, I am gone.
And are you going in ghost form?
Well, I think there's a lot of buildings in between here and there, so I'm going to run straight through them, I think.
Love it. Love it. Let's have you roll to be super then.
Okay, so I guess super. I'm not sure if I'm being the leader.
I'm not sure that, because the leader would stay on point here, wouldn't they, and coordinate the strategy, whereas you've gone family first.
Yeah. So 1 and then 3 for feet, and then 2 for my power. So it's 6.
And I think difficulty is 2. I think this is too cool to be difficult.
Okay, I will take that. It says clearing, but it's clearing now. Okay, so 6 and 2 I got, and 3 ones. So I'm not sure how that is affecting me.
Oh wow, yeah. So you get there, but going through those buildings, and I think. Do you want to describe what this looks like in the panels?
I think that usually when Blink goes into his ghost form, there's a very specific kind of art form for his self. But now in this, I don't know, maybe he's just pushing himself too hard. That art style isn't being applied. He looks like normal, but he's still obviously using his superpower. So he's just like running straight through brick walls and all that kind of stuff. But people are seeing him, right?
Yeah,
run
and
diagonally through their living room, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess in his ghost form, he doesn't knock things over, which kind of is worse, because he appears through the wall and people go, and he just disappears through the table.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think probably every time we see you go through wall after wall after wall after wall, every time there's a little bit of yourself that is almost left, can't quite keep up. And that's why you take those 3 oofs.
Yeah, cool.
But you appear at your house. Let me cut back to Shadeux upstairs in the clock tower. What's Shadeux? I think you're trying to analyze this tape, and there's something in this music. You're convinced, yeah?
That's well, the logical leap of faith to why they killed the DJ. They only killed the DJ if the DJ was in on it. So or wasn't in on it, but discovered it. So I believe there's something in the music which is it's making them zombies, and that's what I want to try and figure out.
Well, you're certainly using your tools.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure this is being super, or is this your gadgetry coming to work here?
Well, I think it's been pushed into the Shadeux-Computer. It's like the Bat computer, but it's more like a MacBook with a sticker on it. But I think that it's using the tech to analyze it at speed. But I'm happy to take your pull.
No, I think that's fair. I think so. Gadgetry gives you 2, tools gives you 3, and I think you are being super because you're using the Shadeux-Computer. And I think on the screen there are all these kind of shapes as the music plays through it. So that's a lot of dice. 8 dice.
Yeah. 1 6 1 5 3 4s and 1 1. So that's 5 successes and a 1.
So the 1 cost you a spark. The successes are fine and dandy. You've got a 6. So I think that I will cut to the chase and tell you that layered deep underneath that music is some kind of signal that shouldn't be there. It would be invisible to anybody else, but it's tuned to the harmonics of the human brain.
Oh my God! It's one of those sound frequencies that only would affect young people as well.
Nobody else could hear
after
it.
The kids. That's why I'm on the team. Old farts couldn't hear this. This is for me. Thinks there's a set of expletives and goes that bastard was in on it all along. And then she looks around for a team and figures out the team aren't there.
Okay, so while Shadow contemplates this, and it's fair to say, Shadow, that Shadow, as you listen into this, it is peculiarly seductive. What do you do? You're muted. Dave, I
That
thought
was
you were
probably
going to
yeah. So admitted. Sorry, that was probably the oof, right? As she sort of figures out that's sort of starting to affect her. We need to keep the evidence, so she's going to try and switch it off before she gets affected.
I think there's this kind of tearing the earphones off moment. Yeah. Okay. I know where Blinker's gone. I think that I have Hotwire and Void in the street below, watching this crowd of kids running to a different bit of the different block. What do you do?
Can you? I mean, you got them off of us. Can you talk them all the way down?
Never talked to zombies before, but I can try. This is crazy. Like, what do you think? I'm not good with children. What do you do with them? Well, not that we have time to try a lot of different approaches.
You know what? I hate to say this, but maybe we can, you know what? Somebody wants them busting up the neighborhood. Let's send them somewhere where they're busting something up, but it's not the neighborhood.
The police station?
No.
Damn.
They'll get shot. Do you understand? Do you understand that they will get shot if we do that?
Yeah, didn't think about that. Oh,
no,
yeah.
Clearly not. But there's a but this all started at the department store. We can hurt them that way. It'll get whoever. It'll certainly get the attention of whoever set this in motion.
Damn. Yeah, that's a good call.
You know, like if we can't get them to calm down, then at least get them to vent in the right direction.
Yeah, they will be tired at some point, I guess. So, yeah, okay. But how do we do that? Like, just
you talk to him, you get him worked up. You be the carrot, I'll be the stick.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, and then I think we will cut briefly back to the clock tower, where Shadow is just kind of sitting there slightly stunned by her brief contact with this subsonic. And that's when Veronica's phone rings.
Who's ringing me?
Camilla Dugas.
I will answer. Hey, Camilla. Just about to, what time is it in the game? So let's say, I was just heading to bed, Camilla. This has a really good time. Maybe we can talk in the morning. What's up?
Well, are they there with you? Are they around your house as well? There's all kind of stuff happening.
It's just they're by the school. But don't worry. Those guys who
no, they're outside our house as well.
I think to which point she says, she's going to like lock the door, keep yourself safe. Help's on the way.
Let's cut to help on the way. Blink. do you materialize inside or outside your own house?
I guess I'm going to materialize directly in front of this baying mob of teenagers.
Because all around Penny Lane and it's Yancey Street, isn't it? High Street rather, and the Park department store is across the way. All around there are kids, and again, they're throwing trash cans, they're breaking, pulling metal bars off fire escapes. It's all looking very violent. What do you do?
So I think, I mean, are they dispersed, or they look like they can be talked to, or what's the general?
I think that they are just breaking stuff. Anytime they can break anything up, they throw it at a window.
Okay.
And stuff is beginning to impact on the brick walls around your family home's windows.
Would it be possible to push my my superpower, my clairvoyance, to like temporarily like give it to someone else?
Oh, I think I'm prepared to let you try to do that. It'll be hard, of course.
So I'm just trying to like shock them out of whatever has them going at the moment.
Okay. So yeah, I think that's going to be a difficulty of at least 4, maybe 5, because this is a remarkable stretch.
Sure.
For your clairvoyance.
Yeah. So I guess I'm being super.
You are.
Is this heart?
I think it is, actually, yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure about leader.
No, nor am I, I'm afraid. The team's not here.
Yeah. And I guess super. So
Yeah.
that's 6 at the moment. You said 4, right?
I think 4.
Okay. I guess I'm going to spend all of my remaining spots. So that's 3 extra. Oh, no.
I hadn't noticed that either. It's great.
So let me clear the room and roll 9, 6. That is 4 successes and 2 ones.
Well, so I'm not sure what you do when you have no spark left and you have 1s. So I think you are just What do we see happen then? What is being broadcast rather than received here?
So I think like so Blink just kind of spreads his arms because he's affecting all of them, right? Mm-hmm. Or everyone in a range, and we see like the usual kind of sensory jump that takes place, but it's like out of his fingers, and then we see like each of those teenagers get that effect, and their vision is going like into one of the houses off the lane, and they're just seeing the kind of terror on the people huddled inside those houses. In some cases it's their family, right? So they're seeing like the real impact of this activity.
Before we do anything else with that panel, what do we see Shadeux doing after that call?
So it's in the clock tower. You can see Shadeux looking across town and sort of calculating in mind the best route, and then there is just sort of a deep breath, and it's like this would be a cut to the soundtrack as we get this big music scene as she parkours like friggin' hell from rooftop to rooftop, taking any risk she can. Is in like, if there's a fire escape, she'll be on it. If there's an open window and running through the house to go out the other side, she'll be doing that. She'll swing sharp, she'll drive on top of buses, but she's going to cross town as fast as possible and doesn't care who sees her.
Okay, then I think this is feet. I think you are being super because you're engaging your super movement. So super is 3, feet is 2, super movement is another 2. I think this is a difficulty of 3.
I'd certainly like to call in card with the description I've just given you there.
Okay, I go for that.
Okay, so that is, yes. So that's 8 then, right?
How are we looking?
We're waiting. Boom. That is 2 successes and 3 ones on 8 dice.
Gee whiz. So that's 3 oofs. So this really takes a lot out of her. We see glass shattering as she dives through people's living room windows. You know, she bounces a couple of times and you know, and then just springs up onto over the wall ahead of her. And the terrible thing is, I can't remember if I said 2 or 3 successes, but I'll throw that 6 in as success. So I think what we will see is at the point that Theo has just let it all go, and is kind of, frankly, you know, kind of just slumped against the railings outside his house. These kids stop and scatter. Just as Shadeux drops into the street beside Blink. But that's when another bunch of them come round the corner, because, you know, you're on Penny Lane, Jurassic Park is running, High Street is running right left with the Park department store on it, and another gang of these kids have come round. So you've scattered one lot, but another lot are incoming. What do you do, Shadeux?
Shadeux pulls a speaker out of her backpack. It's one that's been wired up to you know, give broadcast information like a loudspeaker, and she plugs it into she plugs the MP3 player and twiddle the knob. She's going to release, sort of reverse the modulation, which is going to give these kids a hell of a headache, but send them all home.
So almost ad hoc, she's just going to try and make this work. That's quite hard, I think. Before I determine how that goes, I want to know what we see Blink doing.
I think the effort has completely befuddled him. Maybe he's not seeing exactly what he should be seeing either. Though he is kind of surprised to see Shadeux show up here.
Because it seemed like she just, you know, 1 minute he was doing the Blink thing, and then there's that moment of blankness, and then she's there.
Yeah.
And then you hear from above, Theo, what's happening, Theo? As your younger sister, who's Millie, who we've not yet met, or we've just seen her in the kitchen. Oh no, Camilla would be Millie. Why am I doing this? What's your younger sister's name? You should know.
I should know, shouldn't I? If only I knew I had a younger sister before half an hour ago. Her name is Linda.
Linda is kind of, she's leaning out the window saying, "Are you okay, Theo?"
Wait a minute. Are we saying that my family knows that I'm Blink? I mean, that's shocking.
No, she's just looked out the window, and there you are, lying, you know, just kind of leaning against the railings, looking, you know, like something terrible has happened to you.
Yeah, so I think I will kind of yell back up at her that this is way too late for her to be up, young lady, and you better be in bed by the time I'm there to tuck you in.
And that's when Camilla appears at the window, puts her arms around Linda and drags her in and says, "Are you okay? Are you really okay, Theo? Who's that with you?"
And I think I'm saying exactly the same thing to her. You know, it doesn't quite make sense, except in my own head.
Shadeux, Ronnie's best friend, is just up there. Do we see any reaction?
Shadow's busy trying to do something complicated and risky all at once. So whatever's going on around there, she's focused on the moment.
Okay, but the last thing Camilla says before she pulls the window down, Theo, she said, "How did Ronnie know? She said help would come, and there you are." Let's cut back to Hotwire and friend Void. I mean, there has to be a kind of Batman and Robin moment here when you're running down the street towards the Park Department Store. Of course, it's in that very street that Shadeux is about to unleash hell. So Shadeux, roll the dice, because I want them to know what they see when they come around that corner. So I think you are trying to do this on the hoof. I think this is hard. I think this is incredibly hard. I think you're looking for 5 successes hard.
What exactly are you doing?
I'm trying to counter man the signal that's making them all crazy.
So, like, does my lighting things up help at all, or?
We're trying to deprogram them. I'm sure just like that strobe lightning must have hypnotized them.
It occurs to me that were you able to just stop them, that might have a positive effect when they get hit by the sound wave.
Yeah, I just want to spend a spark to let them die. That's all.
Fine.
Yeah.
So I think you come around the corner, you see Shadeux doing this. These kids are kind of going towards Shadeux.
I can just do one of these and throw a force field around her to keep her from, the first couple of them that come at her bounce off of her.
Okay.
I'll do that to protect her.
Okay, so that I won't make you roll for that. I'll just allow you to use electricity to aid her.
Cool.
So Shadeux, you have an extra spark from your friend Hotwire. Void, any view as you come around the corner?
Yeah, I'm still thinking about, because that now we have like the boys and girls from the hood involved in all this has thrown him off quite a bit. So because he's really protective of the hood, but I totally could see that. Like, is Shadeux playing some music, or what does the signal sound like?
I don't know. You tell me, Shadeux.
It's not no. Whatever the base signal is, or the lower level signal in there, I suppose anyone who's not young ain't going to hear it.
Okay.
There'll just be this moment of, but it's like one of those. It's just a modulated set of squawks hidden as if it was like in the bass beat of a song.
Okay, so if I could hear some sort of rhythm or bass line or anything, I would start rapping the hell out of this situation. I've been practicing for this kind of audience my whole life. I'm giving it all.
I think that I'll prepare. I'll let you help resonate. So you can have a spark as well. So there are 2 sparks on offer, Shadeux, plus whatever you have to play with.
So I'm going to keep 1 spark in the tank, but I'm going to spend 4 spark.
Gee whiz.
And I'm using tools and being super, I would guess.
Yep.
It's an 8.
And using heart.
Yeah, sure. Using heart. So sort of 6, 7, 8.
I think that's about 12
10
dice, is it?
It's 10. It's 10, 12 dice. Yeah. Let's clear the room. It's taking a sweet time to clear. 4 sixes, 2 5s, 4 1s.
Well, that is a total of. I've just realised that they come up in the right order. This is really convenient. So that's 6 successes against a target of 5. Lots of bonus to be had there, but it does absolutely knock the stuffing out of you and your equipment. So you take loads of oof.
So they don't cancel each other out. It's 4 oof and you can never take more than 2.
Oh, that's
oof?
true. You can never take more than the difficulty of the roll. Yeah. So the maximum there would have been 5.
Oh, difficulty of the roll. Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right.
So no, I think that you can have all the advantages in the world for that cost.
Well, I think there is amplified by the force field. I think that's what sort of amplified it and thrown it off. The speaker resonates through the force field. There are crackles of energy, and we hear Shadow say, "Respect your neighborhood, smarten up, go home." And as that resonates out, and so they all start doing it, she goes, "Yes!" And then the wired up speaker in the force field starts shuddering, and she looks around to make an escape move, and all of a sudden there's like a crap, and it's boom, and she stands sprawling around as the gadgets backfire.
I'm probably unable to escape because of the force field.
Hey, but that allowed us to deprogram them all, so it swings around about. But I'm also now on 0 oof.
Oh no!
Can you spend how many bangs do you have? Can you spend one to make the deprogramming permanent so that they can't be?
Well, I got 4 bangs, right? So yeah, that's what I was thinking. Well, yeah, I think that's the thing is once we deprogram them,
they stay deprogrammed.
How many have I got? 4 bangs? Explain that to me. What does that actually mean?
I don't know. I mean, I think the rules are very non-specific, but it should be really positive advantages.
So I think what we've established before is Shadow has hooked into the telephone and the comms network in the neighborhood. So I think she sort of there's a moment and she's sort of on that iPod. She connects up to the cell towers in the area, and there is like, "Yo, teacher, leave the kids alone." And there's a moment of bang, and this sort of counter signal is now built into the cell in the area, so they can leave our children and their zombie plans alone.
I think that'll do.
But I think that is like a bit too bold, and the Shadow phone wasn't meant for that, and it does go, and there's a shorting, an electric shock, and she collapses.
Okay, so Blink is looking a bit dazed. Shadeux is lying there unconscious. Hotwire, you and Void come on the scene, and these kids just they kind of go, "Hey, mister, what happened?"
You made a mess. That's what's happened. Go help clean up. And I bust over to Shadeux, kneel down. And she's just completely out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So I'll, hoist her up and carry her back to the tower.
Wait. Do we know that we're standing in front of Theo's house?
I think Benny certainly would, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I will stop you and I will say, well, let's bring them in here. Like Theo is living just.
Yeah. So Theo's family lives here too. So let's not out him like that just yet, huh?
But what does it look like if we have some hardly conscious people over our shoulders walking through the city? Does that make a better picture?
Can't you make us invisible? Isn't that a thing you do?
Well, no, I can make you suffer all the pain in the world, but apart from that,
Okay, so so just kind of time out as a player. You should change your character sheet to say exactly what your character can do. Because I've been looking at the powers that you have listed on your sheet, thinking you can do all those things.
I noticed that you've cut yours down.
Oh, that's probably the generic, like,
It is.
if you've got
Yeah.
mental powers thing. Okay.
So we defined that in character creation as this the power to help people see the darkness in themselves.
Okay. Yeah. Like I knew you could mess with people's minds, but I thought you can make it like I read that and I thought that you could make it so that they were seeing, whatever their own dark thoughts and ignore us or something. But if that's not a thing, then I'll rewind that to before where I said that.
No, well, you're right. If I could all make them forget about everything that's happening around, but that will cause utter despair.
No. If it's just gonna get like we don't want to traumatize anybody.
Yeah. So that's the point.
It's quite a nuclear power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wanted to have something that is high risk, but could potentially be really useful.
It's all good.
As a player, I guess we can have a discussion. I think, like, if we all like decloak as superheroes, like hanging out in the kitchen to catch our breath, seems like a good scene to have.
Okay, so if you're okay on that,
it does allow me to have Shadeux carried into the house of the best friend that doesn't know who Shadeux
Veronica
is.
Yeah.
So, but I don't want to drop that on Dave unless Dave wants that dropped on him.
Well, we're going to leave her mask on. We're not gonna mess with that.
Dave, break the tie.
So I think if the mask is on, that's fine. I think otherwise the character hasn't got agency, and I have an issue with things being done to the character with that agency.
Exactly. So it gives the audience a sense of potential tension, but actually we know the mask won't come off.
Yeah. Okay.
So we see the four of us going into the house, and then in the upper floor, at the just on top of the staircase, we see Theo's younger siblings just peeking downstairs and seeing like Theo with 3 masked and maybe known kind of heroes.
Everyone in the neighborhood knows who I am. I've been around for 15 years.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Not sure about young Void. He might have been more present as a rapper on YouTube than as an actual superhero.
Yeah.
But to be honest, the only thing that makes him super is, look super is the balaclava. He takes the balaclava off. He's just this guy on the street.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a nice scene to have Shadeux on the couch. I think probably Hotwire is watching over Shadeux to make sure that there's no risk to identity here.
Yep.
Unless she wants there to be. And we've got Linda is probably looking over the banister, seeing all this happening. Camilla and her mother and aunt are fussing about Theo and making coffee for everyone. And probably then Gran comes in, and we see her in her dressing gown, this strong old lady, and she looks around and she says, "You boys did good."
Thank you, ma'am.
And I think we'll take a 5-minute break. Shall we be back at 10 past the hour? Okay. I've just put a note in the chat just to be explicit. I've been focusing you too much on the sixes, for which I apologize. It just seems to me that when you roll 4 sixes, it feels like it ought to be better than 4 fours. But it is just the same. All successes are equal in this game, which is something I'd missed. But I'm going to carry on giving you better outcomes for lots of sixes because I just can't ignore them.
Yeah, it feels right that they might cancel or bring a bonus to the in opposition to the ones, right?
Yeah, I think no, I don't want them cancelling oofs because that's where refresh scenes are born.
Sorry, Rich, but we bought the game. It's ours now.
Yeah, I don't back a Kickstarter in effect to have to run the rules as written. Rich Rogers.
Why start now, Alan?
You're talking about the man who was hacked any game that stops moving into Star Wars, right? I think you've got the gist.
Every game.
Absolutely.
I'm waiting for the Good Society hack, Rich.
Yeah, what's that? I'm thinking of the rules of hockey. If it moves, hit it. If it doesn't move, hit it till it moves. If it's Star Wars, play it. If it's not Star Wars, hack it till it is. That's a very deep cut for those of you outside the gauntlet listening now, who are not familiar with Mr. Rich Rogers' Star Wars obsession. I would recommend that you listen in to Star Wars Saturdays on YouTube.
I don't think it's a deep cut. I think it's glowing praise. You know, you'll love it.
If not, you can take some oof.
So while we're waiting for Jim to come back, what I am just curious about, because you know that took a lot out of you, most of you. What do you want to make use of this scene in the Duquesne kitchen?
I think certainly for Blink and Shadow, there's a possibility for a refresh scene, and given that they wanted, or at least he wanted to talk with her, it's probably a good opportunity.
Well, but I think we should check in with Jim first, because if I remember it right, it was one of his wishes for this session that we would have more action. So now that we're like closing up, I'm not sure if that's something we should do right now, or if we then should do like at the end of the session a short throwback, or I don't.
I think the challenge.
I'm not sure we're capable of any more.
Exactly.
Action.
They cannot use a superpower until that spark goes up. So I think I mean, and Hotwire. I think looking at Hotwire is on one spark. I think Void is hot to trot, but the others are you know, down and out pretty much. So okay, we've had this big double-page spread of the Duke's kitchen. You know, and the sofa, and you know, I think Dad's still in the corner reading the newspaper, and Gran is sorting things out and making sure coffee and sandwiches are made. Shadeux, what do you want to do with this to turn this into a refresh scene?
I think Shadow wakes. The one of the lenses in the goggle is cracked, so you can see this the normal eye underneath. It's burnt out the voice modulator in the mask, so you can hear the voice of a you know, a teenage Spanish girl, or Latin American girl, underneath there, and she sort of wakes up and goes, "Oh." And she sort of looks around and figures out where they are and sort of stands up.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay. You're safe. No one took your mask off. You're safe. How many fingers am I holding up?
2.
You feel dizzy? Like hard to see? Anything like that?
She blinks and said, I'm fine. We're putting this family at risk. We've got to get out of here.
They invited us in. Okay. They
Not
invited
the
us.
Lost Boys, man.
So
I mean, at that point, I'd like to broaden this beyond the pair of you. What's Theo's reaction to seeing that going on?
So I think he'll like, so he's in mask off, right? So he's in virtually civilian mode. He'll like sit or kneel next to her on the couch and like, hey, it's okay. This is my house.
And it's your choices, but this is crazy, man.
Well, we just went through some crazy stuff outside. And rather than drag you through the streets for 3 blocks, we came right in here. Time to introduce you to some traditional Greek coffee, but I'm not sure if you're up for it.
yeah, I don't think you can handle it, kid.
I'm fine with that stuff. I'm more of a frappuccino sort of person.
My nana doesn't hold with any of that Italian garbage, that Americanized Italian garbage.
And we see, Granny Dukas, steaming up one of those Greek hobtop espresso machines. Void, you're in your Bobby Blossom persona because you've taken the balaclava off. What do you make of all of this?
Well, Bobby is just he left the room, probably unnoticed because there's a lot going on and people are still sorting things out. And then we see him take out the phone and making a call, and he's just asking, like, "Are you okay? Like, there's been riots in a neighborhood. Just want to check in that you're okay." And on the other end, we see his sister, who is a single mom, and that is, well, he always does say he doesn't relate with kids, and he can't, like, he's not a kids type of person, but he takes care of his what's it in English? Is it niece?
Niece,
Niece.
yeah.
Niece,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
that's not some kid. That's your niece. It's a whole
Yeah.
different thing.
So, but I just, I wrote that down when I made the character, and I just think that this is a good time to bring it up, and this is why he's been acting so strange with this whole children going nuts situation.
And that's when Linda Dukas just leans over the banister and says, "Hey, mister, are you somebody's uncle?"
Well, yeah.
And she gives you a kind of peculiar look because you don't look like any uncle she's ever seen.
Well, yeah, well, we don't know what Theo will look like in a while, and then maybe he is one of this kind of uncles that has tattoos. I'm trying to convince him for some tattoos, but he's just not up for it yet.
And
So he's clearly not. He clearly doesn't know how to do that stuff.
and we see her giggle, and we'll cut back to the main room. Hotwire, what do we see? What interactions are we seeing? We've seen the interaction with Shadeux. What other interactions, if any, are we seeing?
Like, I think I'm kind of like making sure. So like Shadeux is in an unfamiliar place and she may feel a little cornered. So I'm kind of making sure nobody is like getting too in her face and getting her freaked out, right?
Okay.
Kind of standing there with her and
Perched on the arm of the sofa.
maybe something like that, kind of convincing to, whatever, like leaning in the doorway like this kind of thing, whatever. But also trying to make it clear, like, to her, this is okay and we're safe and they invited us, and like, the scary part is over and we can relax and maybe maybe talk about what happened.
Theo.
Remind her she saved the day for us.
Yeah, actually, I think Theo is kind of bossing the kitchen a little bit. He is kicking his father out, like, put Linda to bed. It's nearly your bedtime too, old man. Get out of here. And basically, like, everyone except his grandmother is getting kicked out of the kitchen because it's too much overload.
And frankly, he can't get his granny out of the kitchen unless she wants to go.
He doesn't even try. I don't have the dice pool.
Very good, very good. So there's tiny steaming cups of really strong coffee. There's a coffee table. There's the sofa. There's an armchair, a couple of kitchen chairs. What's the conversation? I think Granny probably looks over her shoulder and says, "You can't say anything I haven't heard before."
I think I'll just react back to what Hotwire was telling Shadow, and she sort of like leans forward and goes, "Like, it's not that I don't know this place, Hotwire. I come here all the time, and I don't like putting people that matter to me in trouble. This place ain't safe. I'm scared."
You know why it's not safe, kid? It's not safe because if it ain't safe, it's because one of us lives here. And you being here, or me being here, or Bobby being here, that's not going to change the fact that one of us lives here. And, maybe people knowing that if somebody comes after this place, they got to deal with all of us, might not be the worst thing.
Shadow takes a moment to reflect, and underneath the mask, you can see her going through things. And finally takes the wisdom and sage advice of old dude Hotwire, and then takes one of the back lava and sticks under the mask, shrugs and goes, "Right for once. Wow, what does that feel like?"
Yeah.
She gives him a big hug.
And he kind of like nods and pats her on the back and says, "I'm as amazed as you are, kid."
I think everyone gets 4 spark back.
Yeah, it's a much like, "Thanks for giving it a shit, man."
Well, I haven't been around really, so.
Oh no, you get the spark for we found out more about you. We now have a bond.
Okay.
That I can work on.
Yeah.
And I think we're probably going to close. I mean, I don't know. Do you want to talk about it now, and or do you want to close out there? Can we do that?
I really want to end on the hug, and both of us amazed that I was right. That's such a great place to end it.
That's my gut instinct as well. I don't think we're going to cap that tonight. So I'll finish a bit early. I'm sorry about that. I'm normally a bit better on my timing, but the hug really showed that threw me, guys. I wasn't expecting the hug. So let's before we finish the recording, let's have a quick stars and wishes in the order of the character keeper. Donna, any stars? I'll come back for wishes.
I think we hit our clash, we hit our bonding. Like, it was a clash sandwich in a double bonding scene. I think everyone's powers show themselves to great effect this week. So yeah, stars all around.
Great. Moving on. Dave.
Mario makes a good point. XP, right?
Yeah, XP, end of session move. Sorry, I was getting so excited. That was such fun. Yeah, I put an experience tab in the character keeper for reference. So I'm sorry, Donna, can I go back to Blink? The entire table should discuss the following questions. Did you clash with someone who threatened your neighborhood?
Hells to the yes.
Oh, yes. Did you protect the citizens of your neighborhood at least once?
Hells to the yes.
Oh, yes. Did you defeat a villain and have a conflict with your rival team? I'm going to say yes to that, because those kids were not out on the street just because they fancied the night air.
Yeah.
First, we blocked the chance to come back.
Indeed.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think you have thwarted a plot. So I think you each get 3 XP for those 3 questions. And then on a 1-by-1 basis, Theo, did you struggle with your normal day-to-day obligations?
I guess we ended up there anyway.
You ended up in your kitchen. You rushed. Yeah. You walked through walls to save your family. Of course you did. Did you support other teammates when they needed you?
Mechanically, I'm not sure. I can't remember supporting anyone.
They're in your kitchen.
I mean, if making coffee is delivering coffee to them is counts.
Without that coffee, there would have been no hug.
The XP goes to Gran.
It's true. And you know what? Earlier in the game, you and I had a whole discussion about making sure Shadeux was okay.
Yeah.
And all of that. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's another 2 for Blink. Shadeux, you've got 3 under the belt. Let's ask the same questions of you. Did you struggle with your normal day-to-day obligations?
We had that showdown with Hoops where it could have gone all horribly wrong, but the dice were with me.
And also, Camilla's call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Did you support another teammate when they needed you?
Knowing that who Blake was coming over here was about defending them as much as anything else. So I'm going to say,
course.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another 2 for you. Keep going. Let's talk to Void. Did you struggle with your normal day-to-day obligations?
Not really, because we don't know the outcome of the job he sent in too late.
Yeah, I just wish that you'd had that telephone call last session. Then I could have had your niece threatened by rampaging youth. Did you support other teammates when they needed you? Undoubtedly, yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, so you got another 1. Hotwire, did you struggle with your normal day-to-day obligations?
Oh, my cousin's stonewalling me.
What's going on
there?
Bad
news there.
What's
There's
going
nothing
on
good.
there?
Nothing good is coming out of that.
Did you support another teammate when they needed you?
I got a hug.
You got a hug? I mean, you would not have got a hug.
I think they felt supported, so yeah.
Absolutely. No,
I
spot
was
on.
lifting your wallet, man.
If Hotwire giving advice that gets taken doesn't kind of support it, don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was the same for Robert. You led him the way when he was sort of lost in a situation.
Yeah. If in doubt, go with the glue.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for the reminder, because that was too good an episode not to rate. So we got a star from Donna. Dave, stars.
Stars to everyone, but the specific call out for Donna's and for Blake's mad rush across town and that description of them in blind panic. For the opening and closing scenes of the game from Hotwire as the person who's the drugs all together, And a few things from Young Boy, but the one thing that I really loved was like, yeah, there was just one through a long line, which is like, let's send them to the police station. And again, Hotwire going, no, what are you doing, man? That
shoot
and I made a note going like, yeah, that could have ended real bad. So those were my call outs in the game this evening.
Thank you. Mario, any stars?
Yeah, for pretty much the last thing with the police station, that was so much fun, and that was a back and forth between Young Void and the rest of the group occasionally throughout the game yet. And then there is an off-game thing that I really want to point out, and that is Jim using the timeout frequently, because I recognized that I picked that up and I used it in other games, and that's helping so much to put everybody out of character for this second.
Oh yeah.
To formalize it
Thanks.
with that.
Yes, yeah.
That universal language of the T.
Yeah,
that is so helpful.
I'm thinking of instituting the T as well as the X, because I think there are times when you don't know X cards seems a heavy sledgehammer to crack a nut. But no, thank you, Jim, because I think that was important that we got that clear, so we all had the same idea. Okay, and finally, Jim, any stars?
Oh, this was a wonderful session. I really had a good time. Stars to Mario for dropping his secret niece on us. Yeah, we've got to complicate things even further.
Ammunition, I think, is what they call that in the MC world.
Yeah, yeah, that's fantastic. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's spot on. Thank you. Yeah, I'd endorse all that. I think you all played to character. You stuck with character. And I thought you dealt really well with the, hang on, they're just kids. So, that could have gone horribly wrong, but I trusted you with that one and you ran away with it, guys. Thank you. So, wishes, go back round. Donna, any wishes for next and last time?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we've got to move up the food chain, right? We got to get this villain dead to rights to cap off the series. So I guess we're gonna have to be maybe a little bit focused as a group. I don't know how we'll pace that, but I'm enjoying finding out.
Yeah, no, I think that's certainly what's in my mind. What about you, Dave? Specific wishes?
I obviously some personal dangling plots there. I would like to see if I go to the dance. Definitely want to defend the neighborhood, and I really want to see Young Void out. I think if there's a big bad guy, we've got this sort of epic power that we keep sort of getting told about, but we haven't really seen unleashed. So I want to see an opportunity for a Void out.
Okay, well, Mario, I'll set him up, you knock him down. Moving on. Mario, what about a wish for you?
For the grand finale, I really want to have one of those comic movie kind of scenes where we all jump off each other's backs and doing crazy parkour style action, like a bit more over the top than we used to have for the finale.
So physical action as well as just zap the power. Okay. And finally, Jim, wishes.
Yeah, so I guess principally there are two, and the first is that I want to see the dance that we've built up as being a thing, because like one of the things about a dance like that is that like it kind of happens in the neighborhood, right? And there's like, kids dressed up and rented fancy cars and like they're kind of all around, and it's like it's very much a community event, right? It's not just like it's I suspect it is different than the suburbs where everything happens individually, everybody's siloed in their own suburban home, but
I love that
people are out on the street and stuff like that and showing off, and I would love to see some of that. The other thing is I really like it if we could get to punch some people in like, suits, and nice shoes. Like instead of spending all of our time, beating on people from our own neighborhood.
hostile takeover.
Yeah.
Where we're aiming
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think follow the breadcrumbs up the food chain, and you'll find somebody in a suit. Okay, I will stop the recording and say bye bye to the internet.